Mark Grayson had no time to think, only to move. His mother's scream still echoed in his ears as he launched himself through the collapsing portal, chasing Angstrom Levy with everything he had left. The air tore apart into streaks of color and sound, every dimension folding in impossible flashes. Mark didn't care. All he saw was his mother. All he felt was rage, fear, and the crushing pressure of being too late. And then silence. Mark burst out of the portal into open sky. The sudden shift from the nauseating chaos of interdimensional transit to the crisp, clean air of an unfamiliar world was jarring. A skyline stretched beneath him, glass, steel, sunlight reflecting in clean lines from towers that scraped the very clouds. Not his world, not anywhere he knew. The energy of the portal fizzled out behind him, leaving no trace of a route back. He hovered, chest heaving, the adrenaline slowly curdling into a knot of panicked despair. The silence was worse than the screaming. What? Where? Angstrom, where did you? But Angstrom was gone. Mark turns sharply, posture tightening, every muscle wound tight, ready to defend himself against the threat he couldn't see, and that's when he sees him. A man in blue and red, cape drifting with the wind. The fabric itself seemed to catch the light, a beacon of improbable hope. The sunlight hits the S on his chest like it's carved from something divine, a symbol of unwavering permanence in Mark's fragmented reality. Calm, centered, no fear, but power. So much power it almost hums in the air. A palpable, controlled force that made Mark's own Viltrumite strength feel like a flickering candle next to a bonfire. He's not approaching like he wants to fight. There is no predatory stance, just an overwhelming sense of presence. He floats closer, not aggressive, just observant, steady, his gaze unwavering but non-judgmental, and in a voice that carries authority without needing to raise its volume, a voice clear and deep, he asks, "You're not from around here, are you?" Mark hesitates. Of all the reactions he expected, shouting, threats, punches, this measured, almost polite inquiry was not it. It threw him off balance. He swallows, keeping his guard up, a confused curiosity flickering behind his eyes. "Who are you supposed to be?" he demanded. The phrase rove with residual anger. The answer comes without hesitation, delivered with a casual certainty. "I'm Superman." Mark stares, just stares, the name echoing the impossible grandiosity of the man's appearance. Then he lets out the most Mark line possible, a reflex of nervous self-defense and ingrained skepticism. "Your name is Superman? So you're super and your name is just Superman? So you're super and your name is just Superman? That's it? That's the branding? You didn't think of anything catchier?" Superman blinks once, slow, very slow. It is the look of a man truly considering whether this agitated kid is serious. Mark immediately regrets the sentence, the absurdity of mocking an immensely powerful stranger sinking in. "Okay, that came out wrong. My bad. It's been a rough week. A rough year, actually. Continue." Superman doesn't sigh, but a faint ripple of amusement passes through his eyes before settling back into his calm resolve. He simply gestures with a tilt of his head toward the ground. "Let's talk somewhere less public. You look like you need a moment." Because yes, two flying cape dudes hovering near the highest spire in the financial district, Metropolis notices. Sirens are already beginning to wail faintly far below. They glide across the rooftops, Superman setting a controlled, measured pace. The city wind is cold and clean. They land on a low, inconspicuous building. Mark sinks to the edge, sitting, shoulders heavy, elbows on his knees, head bowed. He looks not like a powerful alien, but an exhausted teenager. Superman steps down beside him, patient and steady. He lets the silence hang until the intensity of Mark's breathing begins to regulate. He asks again, gently this time, the tone shifting from interrogator to confidante. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Mark takes a breath, shaky, uneven, tasting like the fear he's been trying to fight down. "I'm Mark Grayson. People call me Invincible." He forces a brief, ironic half smile at the name. "There's this guy, Angstrom Levy. He can open portals to other dimensions. He knows my weaknesses. He's been forcing me through them, dumping me in one reality after another, trying to break me. My mum, he has my mum. He pulled her out of my world just before I jumped after him, and I don't know if I can get back in time to stop him from hurting her. Or worse." His voice tightens, catching violently. He clears his throat, staring down at his scraped knuckles. The guilt of being unable to protect his mother, yet again, was a physical weight. "And my father, Omni-Man. You probably don't know him. He's a Viltrumite. We're not born to protect worlds. We're born to conquer them. That's what he tried to make me into, what I'm supposed to be. And every single planet I land on, every new species I see," he looks down at his hands, turning them over slowly. "I worry I'm going to become him. I worry that one day I'll look at a world and see property instead of people. I worry that the blood in my veins will finally win." Silence, heavy with the enormity of Mark's dual inheritance. Superman slowly steps closer. He speaks calmly, a lifetime of self-reflection poured into the statement. "I'm not from this world either, and I know what it's like to worry about your heritage." Mark looks up, surprised. Superman goes on, his gaze distant, focused on the memory of a fiery world. "I was born on a planet called Krypton, a society built on science, order, structure, a civilization that valued logic but failed to value compassion over control. But Krypton was dying. My parents, Jor-El and Laura, they sent me here not to rule, not to replace, not to colonize or take. They sent me here because they wanted me to have a chance to live, to escape the fate of my world, and to choose who I would become freely." He looks out over the glowing, bustling city. When I grew older, I realized I was stronger than nearly everyone around me. I could have done anything, taken anything. I could have made myself a god on earth simply by demanding it, just as your father intended for you. He looks back at Mark, steady, sincere, unshakable, forcing Mark to meet his eyes. But power isn't about what you can do, Mark. That's just potential. Real strength is about what you choose to do with the power you were given. It's the constant conscious decision to use it for protection, not profit or dominion. Mark lets out a soft, cynical laugh, the sound grating. That sounds exactly like what my dad said just before he told me we were here to take over. He called it ordered conquest. He was good at making tyranny sound necessary. Superman nods, acknowledging the painful manipulation. And that's the difference that matters. Your father's ultimate purpose was conquest and control. The goal of Kryptonian science was a perfected society, one that ultimately failed because it forgot its humanity. My purpose, learned here, was and always will be compassion and service. Mark shakes his head, rubbing his eyes, frustrated, scared that the decision isn't his to make, that his destiny is encoded. But what if it's in my blood? What if I'm going to turn into him anyway? What if I get tired of fighting the inevitable and one day I just stop caring about them? Superman doesn't hesitate. Then you make the choice again. The moment you feel the hate, the moment you feel the exhaustion, the moment you want to quit, you make the choice to be better. Mark shakes his head, rubbing his eyes, frustrated, scared that the decision isn't his to make, that his destiny is encoded. But what if it's in my blood? What if I'm going to turn into him anyway? What if I get tired of fighting the inevitable and one day I just stop caring about them? Superman doesn't hesitate. Then you make the choice again? Right then and there. It's never a one-time decision. Mark looks confused, the sheer simplicity of the requirement astounding him. Superman continues, voice warmer now, laced with the wisdom of decades. Everyone thinks strength is about fists, power, force, but real eternal strength is choosing kindness when anger is easier, choosing mercy when rage feels justified, choosing to protect even when the world fears or hates you. That is the daily test, Mark. That is the real fight. He places a hand on Mark's shoulder, firm, grounding. You're not your father, Mark. You never have been. If you were, you wouldn't be here worried sick about one person. Your mother, you'd already be claiming this planet. Mark's voice breaks, barely above a whisper. But what if I fail? What if I slip up? What if I lose control of my strength and kill someone on accident? He told me I'd fail. He told me I was weak if I didn't embrace the Viltrumite way. Superman smiles, small, human, understanding the terror of that what if. Then you get back up, you apologize, you fix what you can, and you make the choice again the next day to be better. That's what makes you a hero. Not perfection, persistence. The fight isn't to be flawless. The fight is to keep choosing the light. Mark laughs, an exhausted, watery sound that catches in his throat. You're like, annoyingly inspirational. Do you rehearse this in the mirror? Are you legally required to be this good? Superman raises an eyebrow, a flicker of that earlier amusement returning. I don't have a mirror strong enough for that, and if I did, it would be shattered by the reflection of my perfect hair. Now about Kansas, Mark listens as Superman explains how he grew up in Kansas, how he learned kindness before power, humility before flight, how his humanity came not from the sophisticated logical people of Krypton, but from the simple loving people who raised him, the Kents on a farm learning the value of hard work and community. He speaks of the quiet moments, the lessons that anchor him. It's the first time in a long time Mark feels truly understood, seen not as a threat but appears struggling with an unbearable inheritance. Then the air behind him begins to tear open, the familiar sickening sound of dimensional rupture. A portal flickers open, its chaotic energy contrasting sharply with the city's ordered lights. Fate was interrupting. Mark stands slowly, calmer now, steadier. He floats into the air, his stance firmer than when he first arrived. He looks at Superman and there's no sarcasm, no walls, just profound sincerity. Thank you for everything. Superman looks up at him, cape drifting in the wind, a symbol of quiet conviction. Go save your mother, Mark, and remember, who you are is not who you were born to be, it's who you choose to be. Every single day, Mark smiles, small, real, his own symbol of conviction solidified. He rockets forward, punching through the dimensional gateway. The rooftop is quiet again, the portal snaps shut, leaving no trace. Superman stands alone, looking at the space where Mark once was. He says softly, not dramatic, just human. He's a good kid, a decent one. I hope he finds peace, and I hope he finds his mother. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like these. Thank you. You can also watch the video, The Worst Thing Homelander Ever Did.